get into our regular meeting. So every year for the last, I don't know how many ever, the Council on Aging fills the turkey basket raffle for the fair. And this is the list of stuff that needs to go into the basket. So I will pass it around. Now, we do not need 25 pounds of potatoes. We don't need 4 squashes. And just, keep it simple, people. And I get it to me by Wednesday or Thursday that week for the fair, and I'll put it together. I have a basket I've been hiding for this. So, especially the fresh stuff, the celery and that stuff. So, anyway, so there's the... So are we also signing up to fill for the Oh, for Thanksgiving? Oh, I'm getting to that. That's on the agenda. That's a legit agenda. This is...
Assignment.
I just didn't want to forget. So.
Hi, Phil.
I don't want to be here. I do that all the time.
Nancy, don't forget, it's pretty.
No.
I haven't got to take the breast Okay, well, it's about 103, and I would like to call the meeting to order. And the first thing we are going to do is stand
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
If you all had email, I would do that. But since you all don't have email, I want everybody to get any kind of communication the same way. I try to get them in the boxes on Wednesday before the meeting. Nancy had a small stroke when I told her the meeting was last Monday, and she rushed through it. But I try really hard to get them in the boxes on that Thursday.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Bills and budget.
The bonus to having a meeting today as opposed to last week is I did get the financial statements from the town, so we're in good shape. Right? We have a bunch more bills to pay this week, so they're all paying the test. So we're doing okay.
Old business needs assessment.
Do we have handle this one?
The I'm the representative for the council on the needs assessment committee that's creating the survey. The survey was actually created by UMass
Gerontology Institute.
That the town voted for at the town meeting. And they've had several open forums with department heads and things of that sort. The first meeting to review their first draft, I was in Italy at the time, but got an email copy of it and was able to review it from there and provided comments. They've had a lot of discussion on it. We've had 2 meetings since then. The latest was this morning. And we are really going through word for word. We've made a lot of changes to what UMass had suggested to tailor it for the town. And we think, once they incorporate the last comments that were made today, that's going to be it. And it's scheduled to go out over 20-something.
You should be getting your postcards sometime middle of next week telling you that it's coming. And then the following week, sometime the middle to the end of the week, you should be getting the survey mailed. It's being mailed to every person in town who's over 55, not households, so you'll be getting 2, and you'll be getting 2, and you'll get 1. And so you don't have to share your answers with your partner or whatever, but everybody's going to be getting them.
Person 55 and over.
Everybody 55 and over, yep.
They carried down a question at all.
So we did, not by much. They started out with 48 questions. I think we're down to 42.
Yeah, but some of them are like, what's your gender?
Well, yeah, there's
Some of them are
bunch
just, yeah.
of demographics.
It's not the gender identity.
No, male, female, other, it says, just in case. Yeah, I should probably say it. Yeah, I mean, some of them are just demographic
Age,
information, it's not.
group that you're in. The idea, though, is not to be able to identify the person. It's totally anonymous, no name, no address, and specifically it says on the top, don't put anything on here that would identify. So,
Don't sign it at the end. That's good.
so it looks pretty good. We debated. I mean, there's so many ways to interpret the questions, and I'm sure we're not going to get, the clarity that we think we're getting. Because even within the group, when you read a question, and one person said, well, gee, this says this, I really think you ought to word it this way. And somebody said, oh, no, that's not what that question is supposed to do. It's supposed to say this. And then the UMass people say, oh, no, you're both wrong. This is the intent of that question.
This is why we ask it this way.
And it correlates with this question and with that question, and that's why we got to word it the way it is. So, I mean, again, a lot of discussion has went on. It's not perfect, right? It doesn't cover everything that we want. Doesn't say things as perfectly as we would like, but or any one of us would like, I should say. But it seems to be the best that we could do with the space that we've got. Again, we had to reduce the questions for 2 reasons. One, nobody wants to do a 100-page questionnaire. But there's also, we don't want to mail out, anything too big. The contract basically calls for 8 pages.
Is this going to be in the community advocate at all? Say, the postcards would be.
Oh, no, it's, yeah.
An article about that should
There'll be a press release coming out. There'll be notices sent to all the churches for the bulletins. I'll be talking to people that live in places like you guys live to put it out on your email blast there in Orchard Hill and the Highlands. So, yeah, that's all in the works.
Will we still be able to answer this on the computer?
Yes.
Yeah, there's going to be, in fact, one thing that came up today, the questionnaire has the town website, the full, long name of the town website, and then it's going to be probably on the front page. There'll be a link for it. But for people who want to just type it in, they're going to come up with what they call a tiny URL, which is gobbledygook bunch of letters, but it's very short, so that you can just type it in. Yeah.
What's to prevent someone from filling the survey out online and filling it out from the mail?
There is
Absolutely nothing.
Oh.
Not a concern from the history and the experience that this group had.
I think once you get through the first the 8 pages once, you really don't want to do it again, so. So please promote it amongst your friends, groups and clubs you're involved with or whatever, just remind people to fill it out. It's really important. They usually get about 35% return rate. We're hoping to do better than that. So they'll be, and it'll be due back. The due back date is November 18th, but they'll continue to take them, but just, that's the date you need to shoot for. But they're not going to turn anybody away that if they get them back in the mail on Monday or Tuesday that following week. They're not going to rip them up or anything.
That's about a week after our next meeting, so we're not going to have a lot of time to play with it. As soon as it arrives, you got to tell people, as soon as you get it, fill it out and send it back.
Is there postage on it?
Yes.
I believe it is, right?
Do you think we ought to talk or think or consider having a couple of us here at the senior center, specific day or time for those who have questions, or should that be open Pandora's box?
Probably, but let me talk to Kim about that. I know that there was some question this morning after the meeting. I talked to Kim about the translation, because apparently UMass has decided they're going to let us do that themselves. And I know that Tammy was planning to present it to her group, but now she may have to present the whole thing to them in Chinese. I don't know. Kim was going to try to get some clarification on that this afternoon. So. But I think if we had it in Chinese and Spanish and maybe Portuguese, we might hit the top. I don't think we need to delve into all 29 languages they speak in the schools, but I think those would probably be the 3 big ones. And I have instructors that can translate for us if we need to do that. So. Yep.
So we move along to minibuses?
So I think I finally found someone to fix the windows. I should have called them in the first place. I've done business with them at home for years, and I should have just called them. They were perfectly happy to, I've got to have Brad email the pictures to them. It's area glass in Milford. And oh yeah, we just replaced a couple windows in the Milford bus. We'll be happy to take a look. I'm like, yes. We've really been struggling with 2 buses. It's been a challenge, to say the least. And I can't, in good conscience, do the registry trips because we can't do it. So anyway, I'm hoping that their person that does the windows is on vacation this week. So I'm hoping to hear from them the beginning of next week, and then we'll make arrangements to get the bus down there. And area glass in Milford. And so hopefully we'll get it back beginning of November. We can make my driver's lives a little easier. So, the other thing is that according to whatever the new rules are, even though we have the money in a bequest for a new bus, We still have to appear before capital planning and go through that whole process. And I haven't we have the budget, and I'll talk about the budget summit in a little bit, but all that capital planning and budget stuff is due shortly, and once that happens, I will be sending that off to them, and then we'll have to do that. There was some question about whether or not we've had the buses long enough to replace, but I'm pretty sure we have, because I think I vaguely remember the 5-year rotating plan, and somebody said, oh no, it's supposed to be 10 years, but I think it was 5. So, but at the very least, we could replace the oldest bus and then move the other one down and do, yeah, but I think we'll probably save ourselves more money than if we wait another year or 2 anyway, so. But it won't be a raise and appropriate or a borrow, it's coming from our request, a substantial request that we got specifically for transportation, but we still have to go through the process, so.
Brochure.
Yeah. Phil, you can discuss.
Hot off the presses.
Literally.
Well, it's tricky to do that with a tripod. Guido and Alma have put a lot of,
You gotta be louder.
okay,
That's better.
You're running against.
Yeah, we've got the fan back there.
Guido, turn it the opposite way that it is. Yeah. Well, it's not gonna shut off immediately.
It was in the middle, so I turned it.
So turn it to the little 0, the little dot, not the plus.
Right.
Okay.
How's it go?
well, in any way, this has gone through about 14 drafts. But that's maybe my paranoia with trying to keep track of every change so I don't lose track. So this was actually the 14th draft. The intention is to provide a handy source for someone who asks the question, what activities, what things go on here? Because most of these are not mentioned in the monthly Senior newsletter. Some of them are buried in the website under senior information, but that too needs to be updated, and we'll get to that, in the next couple of weeks, I think. But while Guido was gone in Italy, I had nothing else to do, so I started working on this.
Actually, you did the slides on the front here.
Oh, well, that's another detail. The instructors themselves haven't seen this. We're going by the best information we had. Usually it was write-ups that were before COVID or before some people left, and Alma adjusted some things based on her knowledge. So it's conceivable that some of the instructors will, when they see this, will say, oh, you should say this, or you should say that, etc. Alma doesn't think they're really going to do that.
Except you still spelled Caitlin's name wrong.
I would encourage you to take this home and read. If you have any thoughts or ideas about content or graphics or colors or whatever, feel free to drop Alma or me an email. And because it's likely that beginning in November, there will be a change. One of these classes will exist, or a new one will get added, and so we'll publish a new one. it's now at the point with 14 drafts, there's really not anything technical that I think we'd have to change. But changing the content around is a simple exercise of editing in a product called Microsoft Publisher.
We will be adding line dancing in December.
Yeah, so
I found a teacher.
yeah. Well, that kind of stuff will happen. And there's space and there's ways of manipulating things so things will fit. The thing you might notice is that the exercise programs out in the center, many of them are quite wordy.
Well, we can edit some of that for space.
Well,
if
when we need the
to do that.
space, we'll edit it down
Yep.
further.
Is there a cost for this?
No,
Not free?
we did them on the copy machine.
Either?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, very good.
And if you notice, up in the little corner above the word Tai Chi,
Everybody does.
there's a tiny little black tick. And you wonder what that's about.
Folding,
Well, I'm going to tell you.
for folding?
Yeah, because when you get the thing off the printer, it's a flat sheet.
Now I see it.
And if you try to just eyeball, you end up with a mess. So by measuring, the distances instead of we print that little tick mark, it's called.
That's
And when
really
you talk
nice.
to someone who's made many of these trifolds, she says, "Oh, we do that all the time."
Nice job.
Well, thank you, this is
You
terrific.
did a great job.
I think it's
really
an
nice
excellent
job.
draft. For the 14th, you did a great job.
Will these be placed around town?
No, here at the center.
Just here?
For the
Well,
time being.
Alma isn't sure, how many even to print. I mean, the fact is, she could print a half a dozen, put them on the front desk, and if they get gobbled up quickly, she can just print a few more. We designed it so that we didn't have to go to a professional publisher. So, because we don't know, I mean, if it gets to be such a hot seller that people want to have a copy of it in their home, then we might want to rethink about things.
Should this have like, say, 2022 at the top? or-
Well, he's got it, somewhere in here it says,
It's in the back.
Oh, it's
in the back.
Says updated in October.
It was updated
Okay.
October 2022, and CDC, so on.
That's
So this is just a draft.
No,
Oh, this is good for now.
This is great.
I used to have a version like this. If you look over here, you see it says draft. I took that off.
Yeah.
Between Alma and I, we kind of got to the point where we figured, we're ready to go.
Yeah, stop messing with it.
I think it's excellent, really. It's very good.
Yeah, that's good now. Is it possible to include this in the mailing that's going to go out? I know they're worried about the weight.
I'm
and
worried
all
about
that.
the weight and the postage. Let me find out. I can put one in and take it down to the post office and see if it changes the amount at all. That's why I'm hesitant too to add another, whole 4 pages, because it would mess with, right now we just put a regular first class stamp on it and it's good to go, but if we added another section, another pages.
So only one page.
Well, it is 1 page, but unfortunately in the weight of post office-ness, it would change the weight of the thing, so
Good.
I'm not sure. But let me find, we'll take this to the post office, have them weigh it and see what they say. So, at which point, then we're going to Staples or someplace to have these printed, because there's no way I can have that we can do 1,800 or 1,500 of these on the copy machine and the other.
We hope we have not opened up the rest, so.
Yeah, no. I think for what it's here for information, we'll certainly make sure people who come in for tours, which have been happening about 3 or 4 times a week, new people, that we'll make sure they get them. And see how it goes.
I'm not, by tours, they come, you know they're
They're brand new, and they come
You know
in.
they're coming?
No, not always. Sometimes families will call and say, my mother just moved up here with us, we'll bring her up, and you come with her, and and they'll come. And sometimes people just walk in the door themselves and say, I just moved to Walker Meadow, or I just moved to the Highlands, or I just moved to Beach Street, and then,
So that's happening a lot more now.
Oh, yeah.
People- You know, I was almost thinking of, you know, Walmart has these greeters.
we've tried that, but it doesn't
Yeah,
last
it
very
doesn't-
long.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we've tried that, but,
Because I didn't have someone from the work-off program, you know, doing it as part of the job sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm just brainstorming.
okay.
Thank you for listening.
Always.
Okay, shall we move along to new business? Office coverage?
Next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Kristen, me, Mary Ellen, and Stephanie will all be down at the Mass Councils on Aging Conference. We have one of our work volunteers that'll be here to answer the phone, but it would really make me happy if some of you could take turns being here during the day. Kim said she'd come hang out for a day, bring her laptop up here and work out of the conference room. But just a voice of authority here for some time.
What hours? What hours?
Well, we open at 9 and we close at 4, so if somebody wants to do a morning and somebody wants to do an afternoon or whatever. Wayne's usually here in the afternoon, so she wouldn't be in the building all by herself. And there's the regular activities going on. The only thing that's added next week is the Legion meets at 10 on Thursday, but they meet in here, so it's not, it's just the regular stuff. I didn't plan anything extra to happen during those 3 days.
Who will have a key for access to the building?
Donna will be, and the bus drivers are also here. They all have keys.
They'll open up and shut, and then they'll shut down.
What was the time frame of the days?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yep. And if you don't know right now, you can call me. I'm here till Tuesday, late afternoon. The other part of that is that I will be at town meeting Monday night, but I won't be there on Tuesday night. For those of you that haven't figured it out already, I'm not really a morning person, so I do not want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive to the Cape to be at that conference. So I'm going down Tuesday after work, and I will not be at town meeting Tuesday evening, but I would like to think that anything that you might need me for will be done by then. And I'll talk to Guido about the statement for the tax thing. We can talk about that before I leave, because basically we're just gonna get up and say that the council
Yeah, we
voted
voted in
on
favor,
September
unanimously voted in favor.
11th, yeah, to support this article, so, that shouldn't be a problem. And if you need me, call me for crying out loud. It's not like I won't answer my phone. Well, maybe I won't, but
You look at the ID.
I'll look at the caller ID and then decide, yeah. It must be spam.
Guido, are you going to be available to stand up at the town meeting? So that,
Yeah, so you can breathe a sigh of relief.
thank you.
So, all right, well, like I said, let me know if you're available. And I appreciate it a lot, so. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the grounds up here look a lot better than they did a couple years ago. Mike Hashi is one of our volunteers. He has just done a remarkable job. He dug out around all the trees to help them get better water. He did the vegetable garden. I think there's some peppers and some kale, if you're into kale. I guess kale's gone out of fashion now, so you don't have to eat it if you don't want to, but anyway, there's still some things he's pulling out of the garden on the credenza out there. He's trimmed back the trees, he's trimmed the bushes, he's planting daffodil bulbs all over the place in the next few
Awesome.
weeks. I mean, he's
His own
just,
company?
huh?
Is it by himself or is it?
Yeah, he's just comes and goes and
Isn't he retired?
yes.
Is he planting down the lines too?
Well, no, they plant themselves. But anyway, he's just done a really excellent job.
He's an engineering company.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and and if he can't figure out, like, he'll like research it. He's planted, so we had to take a tree down because it was pretty dead up over by where the garden is, and he planted something else there that he promised me it would be grown in a year or two. I'm like, okay. You know, he did some work in the Veterans Garden. He feels badly because he didn't get to spend as much time on the butterfly garden as he wanted, but he's done a lot of research, so in the spring, he can come back and like plant the right stuff in there. He went to a seminar about butterfly gardens or something.
He has an engineering background, so that he.
Oh, yes, oh, yes. He tells me exactly how many pounds of mulch and everything.
Yes, yes.
But he's just really done a great job, and it looks
Hey, I'm an
so
engineer,
much
stop giving us.
better.
Even when I came up the driveway today, they were out there blowing.
Oh, that was the guy who mows the lawn. Always in the middle when I'm either on a Zoom meeting or we're here, and he's right outside my window blowing rocks up against the calendar. Very, very, very good timing on their part. Anyway, but I just wanted to let you know that that's, like I said, we finally got our trees pruned, because they were getting a bit much, so. Yes. So. The budget summit. So on the 29th of September, I attended the budget summit with most all of the other department heads, the Board of Selectmen, the school committee, and the finance committee. Let's just say I've been to scarier ones. Christy did an excellent job with all of that information, and our hope for additional hours for Stephanie, Kristen, and Tammy is still on the table. I don't know if it's going anywhere, but it's still there. There was a lot of discussion about the ARPA money and the insurance issues and so on and so forth. I know you can watch it on cable if you really feel so inclined. But it was, like I said, it wasn't nearly as scary. I've been to some of them where it's like doom and gloom and it's we're in trouble and you can't afford anything and everybody's gonna have to cut their budgets and whatever. This one wasn't quite like that, so that was helpful.
But not the custodian.
My day wasn't good anyway to start, so.
Any other questions on budget?
I should have that, like I said, within the next week or so. I'm not sure what the time frame is going to be like to get it done and I'm sure we're going to be level funded, so I'm not even concerned about that, but I'm not sure what the time frame is, but I'll get you what I have done or what's ready to go or what's already been sent for by the next meeting.
Thank you. Okay, director's report.
So the fire chief, we sort of had a very informal group several years back to deal with hoarding situations in houses in town. But the fire chief has now made it an official housing task force. We met last Monday morning. There are many, many, many houses in town that are really in bad shape as far as being collectors of anything and everything. The chief's concern is not so much, well, it is the cleanliness of the property, but The chief's concern is that A, if the ambulance gets called, are we gonna be able to get somebody out of there with all this stuff? And B, if there's a fire there, are we talking about pouring thousands of gallons of water on a two-story house and watch the second story land on the floor in the basement? So, with his guys inside. So, his concerns are valid, quite valid. There are certain parameters that we have to work in, there are certain parameters that we have to work in legally because it's your house. So it's not like we can just go in and say, your house is a mess, we need to clean it up and get good as gone in there or something. But at least this way, he would be able to notify or have the information available to his department before they went out on a call about a house. And then we certainly could see about working with people to help them get squared away and cleaned up. And some people just don't want to. There are a couple of workshops coming up at the conference next week that I'll make sure I get to. We had this Youth and Family Services, the Board of Health, the Building Commissioner, me, Christie, Police Chief, and the Fire Chief. I think that was it. Yes, yeah. Anyway, so we will, this will be meeting again after the conference, and we'll be meeting again actually November 1st. So, but this is something that apparently has become quite a concerning issue for the chief, and we need to help him fix this.
Good question. How do you identify the homes? The family members do it?
All of the above. We've had family members call and say, what do we do? He's had family members call and say, what do we do? Neighbors that were concerned. We've had some Meals on Wheels people come and tell us that they could barely get in the front door. It comes from all over the place.
Is there any understanding of how many of these situations are seniors?
Most of them, but not all of them. Because I asked that same question. He said most of them are seniors, but not all of them are seniors. So, and he's got a good long list. So, and there's degrees of hoarding, which...
Well, that sort of suggests some kind of a program that the seniors can figure out how to do.
And we've had some of those, the anti-clutter and what to throw away and how to get rid of your stuff and downsizing and that. We've had some of those. But I think that for a lot of the people, I mean, on some level it's a mental health issue. And my experience has been that most people really don't want to live like that. It just gets so out of control they don't know how to approach it or attack it, and they end up not doing anything, and then it just gets worse. Like I said, there are degrees of hoarding, which is really kind of sad when you think about it. But and I've been in some of those houses. So has Stephanie, so has Mary Ellen, Mary Donna and Mary Ellen too, frankly. And we've all seen it, but and like I said, some people want help once it's discovered. It's like, please help me, and other people are like, go away. It's my house. And unless there is a public health issue like rats or bugs or whatever, if you live in your own house, there's really nothing legally we can do unless you're, like I said, you're a menace to your neighbors. It's a little bit easier if you live in an apartment complex because the management has the ability to lower the boom. But it's unfortunate. After that meeting, I went home and cleaned more stuff around.
Got rid of all that stuff by the front door.
In the family room. But yeah, so anyway, so this is now an active committee in town, and it is, I'll be attending these meetings, and at some point, Stephanie may be too, so. And then on Tuesday morning, we did a NEMA tabletop exercise at the fire department dealing with response and recovery for a Category 3 hurricane. It was really very interesting. Westborough was there, Shrewsbury, Northborough, and Southborough. So there were representatives from all those towns. It was really very interesting. All I can say is that you're very fortunate to live in this community because we got this. A lot of plans, a lot of, stuff's on the table, we all work together, it's all good, so. I was sitting next to a man from NEMA and he was asking me about the senior center and different things, and he said, something about, you seem to have this under control. I said, well, I've been doing this longer than anybody sitting here at this table, so I hope I'm getting it right finally. I really do hope I finally got it right. But he was very impressed that we have our lists and we have our our callings, whatever, and that all the stuff we do, so. And then there's all sorts of very detailed plans with the fire and police and DPW, all of that. I find all that kind of stuff very interesting, but like I said, and I was really happy to be invited because I was the only senior center director there, and I know the other three, so, yeah. So, anyway, I was happy to be included. So, shredding day is Monday the 24th from 10 to 1. You now have a little less than 2 weeks to clean all that stuff out of your house and get it down here. We've had literally dozens of calls from people. When is shredding? When is shredding? It's like, oh, it's coming. Oh, good. They'll also be collecting medication and needles. The fire and police department will both be there for those. And it's usually a pretty busy, very successful day. We're very grateful to Mike Swan, being the logistics guy at Logan Airport for FedEx. This is a piece of cake for him, so he's got it all set up.
That's 10 to 1.
10 to 1, yep.
On a related topic, I'm often drink a beer in a can, or on soda in a can, and we have some garbage bags in the garage, so I toss the empties into the bag.
I hope you rinse them out first. Okay. I'm just thinking those soda cans in the garage, that could be nasty.
Good for mice.
Actually,
But after about
don't like it.
piling 2 or 3 shopping bags full of cans and realizing what a pain in the neck it is to stand in front of those machines at Wegmans or BJ's and pumping them in, and you end up with like $1.50 on them. And it's really not worth doing. So with a neighbor's help, what we would have done it ourselves, you can take it over to the recycler, and, the party's place, and they'll recycle it. So it'll be recycled, you won't get your $1.50 about it. But there's a way of disposing of that stuff.
There's a better solution. The Methodist Church has a shed for the Appalachian Service Project, the multi-church program, and they collect beer cans, soda cans, bottles, and they redeem them for you.
Yeah.
And they make them get the money so that
Yeah.
they can use it for their trip down to Appalachia.
The issue is
The
just,
shed is always open. You could go there 24 hours a day, 7
You
days
just
a
have to
week.
clean them. You have to make sure
But
they're
they have to
clean.
Yeah.
well, then you rinse them out because the owner's going to be there with a machine to
Yes.
check them.
They, I'm glad to hear the Methodist Church does that, because I didn't know that, but I know, like, down where I live, a lot of the, Little League teams or scout troops and stuff, they have collection days, and they collect all the cans and bottles.
They just brought it up in the context, and you mentioned the shredding day, you thought it occurred to me, and maybe it's a corollary to that, so I don't know how.
Well, maybe when we do it in the spring, I'll call the Methodist Church and see if they want to partake, and we
Bring
can
over
do
a
that
big,
too. Yeah, we can do that.
Don't
Okay,
forget to write it down.
okay. It's amazing the things I remember. Thanksgiving. So the Knights of Columbus will be doing an in-person meal, and they've asked us to continue to do the home delivery, which we will do on Tuesday afternoon. I met with Tom Shea and Roberta Sylvester this morning. I did talk to our caterer last week, and I don't know if you all knew, but there was a bird flu that wiped out half the turkeys in the country, and they have all these problems, and turkey's expensive, and honest to God, I thought they were kidding. And well, not that they were kidding, but I was in Market Basket in Bellingham on Saturday afternoon, and I saw there was a big butterball turkey there, and I looked at the price tag, it said $57. And I went, there is no way on this planet for anything. We'll have spaghetti. I'm not spending $57 on a turkey. Plus I found out my kids are gonna be in Paris for their anniversary that Thanksgiving, and my mother doesn't like turkey, so I'm good.
Have spaghetti.
But like I said, $57 for a turkey, like holy smoke. So they are anticipating the price for the delivered meal will go up to $12.99 from $10.99, which isn't awful, but you know. Last year we delivered 70, I believe, meals. We certainly do encourage people to go to the Knights of Columbus rather than have the meal delivered, but unfortunately some people are just more comfortable for a variety of reasons having it delivered. Those letters will go out to all of the caregiver dinner, the Meals on Wheels people, and then a few other people as soon as I get back from the Cape. And we'll do the same thing. I already mentioned it at the department head meeting last week, and we have a bunch of it. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll do that. That was fun.
Is that a long list?
What, delivery?
50 people? Or?
Usually so last year I think I had 6 or 8 police officers, a couple firefighters, both chiefs, the building commissioner, recreation
How
director.
many houses do you deliver to?
Oh, the first year we did it, a couple of years ago, the first COVID year, I think we did about 100.
But there was no in-person,
Yeah, because there was no in-person meal day.
all
I'm anticipating probably somewhere in the vicinity of 60 to 75 meals this year delivered.
we used to average between 40 and 50, I think.
Yeah.
Before we started to do the year.
Yeah.
The next of that, about 40.
So those are things that we did last year, we had all the bags.
Yep,
We had a good team.
we did. I was very impressed. Bob asked about that. Are we going to if Guido and I got to come do the pickles and olives again? I said yes. But anyway, this is in the works right now. Like I said, I met with them this morning. The Knights of Columbus have committed to $1,000 toward this. Because it's not just the turkey dinner, it's also the pie and the cornbread and the cider and the napkins and all the other stuff that goes in it. So, and we still do have a lot of our outreach money, but I don't want to get carried away.
I would
So,
hope that they contact the churches, because when I first got involved in this program, the churches were doing it. And each year, the turkey book went from church to church.
Well, in 2010, the Ecumenical Council came to the Knights and said, we're not going to do this anymore. They just found that their time is...
I'm very aware.
it was
of
cumbersome.
that change.
It was just, things changed. And they just, they helped. And they were willing to continue to support it, but not actually run it anymore like they used to.
No, but
And
I
that's when the
think
Knights
that
took it
would be
over.
a great source to ask, when it's appropriate, the churches to make contribution, financial, or bake a pie, bake a cake, make some cookies. I mean, there are so many areas.
Well, they're working on some of that.
Well, we had a meeting with the St. Luke's Women's Club last week, and we have talked about asking people to bake pies to bring down to the Knights of Columbus. So I do know that there will be people that are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I know that they told me that that two of the people that are usually contributors, two of the civic organizations both doubled their donations this year, which I think is pretty cool. So, I mean, it all comes together in the long run. It's just, like I said, my concern is just the expense, the added expense for the dinners, and then, I mean, I'm sure the pies will be fine, but the other stuff that we put with them just to make it a nice Thanksgiving dinner would be.
I may have misunderstood, did you say that the in-home deliveries are going to be Tuesday?
Yes, Tuesday afternoon we deliver them. They're ready to be reheated. Oh yeah, we started this the first year of COVID when we did the turkey pot pies, and they get heating instructions. And they can do whatever they want to. But that eliminates a lot of the chaos at the Knights of Columbus on Thanksgiving morning. It just makes it. And people seem to be good. And they like it when a handsome young police officer comes to the door and hands them a bag full of food. It works really well. So,
They didn't end up right away.
no.
Where do the meals go out from?
Here. They bring them over, and then the last couple of years, Guido and Bob and Diane was here last year, we set up all the bags. And then I set up the rooms, and then they set up all the bags. And just like when we do caregiver dinners, you come in, you got your list, you need 6 bags, you walk out with your 6 bags, so.
The reason it worked out was we just about done, and suddenly that back door opens up and the screen delivery people coming in.
Yeah. I had way more police officers than I expected last year, but I was happy to have them, so. Yeah. And they enjoyed the building commissioner, he loves doing it. So the director of this and that, they're seeing people that they don't necessarily see otherwise. And both Christy and Ben did it last year and the year before, and so. It's good for them, it's good for us, so. So So that's in the works, just so you're aware. A couple programming kinds of things. The Veterans Lunch will be on the 10th of November, so keep that in mind. Nurse Jim is in the process of setting up a food court for here with Walgreens. And I should know tomorrow what the date of that's going to be. He'll be in tomorrow. I should know. And then our holiday party is December 13th. At noontime. And as I had said earlier, I didn't find the line dancing teacher. He found me. He was driving by and saw the sign and came up. And he's going to start his classes on Thursday, December 1st from 1 to 2. And then on Friday, December 30th, we're going to do the New Year's Eve party. The other thing too is I'm not sure if we'll be participating in the Identity Stroll this year. I need to get some clarification. They are not having the buses this year. They used to have school buses because not everybody is downtown. But apparently they're not doing the buses this year. So I don't know if that's excluding everybody on, it's not right downtown, or I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen. So if we don't do it, if anybody has an opportunity that you need 100 cute little paint stir snowmen to make with a bunch of kids, I got everything in a bag. Had it all done last year, and then I got COVID, so that was the end of that. That was, yeah, they're sitting in, I even know where the bag is, so. Yeah, so there'll be a little more clarification about that, but I'll know definitely what's gonna happen by the time we do this. Carrie had surgery, we got an email from her over the weekend, she anticipates being back by the end of the month. That's what I said. She said she wished she'd done it sooner because she doesn't remember the last time she wasn't in pain, and she's fine now, so, yeah. Yeah. So. Anyway, other than that, you've all retired, right? If you have friends or family who are thinking they might retire in the next couple of years, we are doing a presentation here on the 27th at 7 o'clock. What to expect from Medicare and, the Advantage plans and all that stuff. Sue Flanagan from Blue Cross Blue Shield does an excellent job with this. It is not a sales meeting for Blue Cross. She barely mentions Blue Cross actually. It's just a lot of good information. Bill LaPride's going to be here too to talk about the Shine program and what we need to do with that. He actually referred one of his first customers this morning. You need to come to this thing on the 27th. You'll get a lot of your notes. So if you know anybody who's in that position, they'll be cookies.
I'm for the cookies.
Yeah. And if you're thinking you need a Shine appointment, you best go see Kristen before you walk out of this building, because there are very few appointments left for open enrollment, so just so you know that.
I would like to talk about other business for just a moment. As you know, we have a fair coming up. Some of you have volunteered, I have volunteered, a couple of people.
No, you're more pressed into service than volunteers.
Well, the fair is important. It's what keeps us afloat here. It provides more than just, it promotes social activities here. Funds that are collected by the senior center supporters. Just think of this past summer and every wonderful Tuesday night that there was an event or a day trip. And that's where those funds come from. So, that being said, I stepped up because nobody else really wanted to. So, really.
It's one of those things where they all kind of sit and look around at each other and nobody said a word.
I'd like to be the chairman, everybody's head goes back there. They were all praying about it. Praying that somebody else would say.
Because you're doing such a great job.
That's
You
right.
do a great job. It's a lot of hard work.
Rito is going to be in the kitchen with Bob Sylvester. They will be doing the luncheon. It's questionable about whether Matt can join me in the kitchen this year, but I believe Bob is working on that. He's gone to Plan B. As I go around the room, Nancy, I've asked you to
Selling tickets for the lunch.
for the luncheon. And John has volunteered to sit himself raffle tickets.
He'll be the keeper of the trees.
Right. Nancy Gage is going to be chair of elegant treasures that will be held inside here in the, I think, the hallway area. There will not be a children's table this year. But that being said, we do have thoughts. We will fill a basket, a raffle basket, we can do two if necessary, with crayons, coloring books, things that would appeal. Alma mentioned today, perhaps a game those types of things, so we're working on that.
So there was a raffle classes?
Yeah. Yes,
Raffle classes?
yes. Now we get down the table and Diane is going to chair the jewelry table again, and it's our hope that it will be here.
Oh, that's the other part. If you have any connections with higher powers, you pray for a sunny, not freezing cold day on November 5th. That's your homework for the next month, to make sure that we have good weather that day.
Because we don't let it in until 9 o'clock.
Well, I know, but then we'd have to figure out where to put Grandma's attic. We'd have to put them back inside. I don't know where we'll put them, so.
The men are going to be working outside. Dennis Benton is coordinating yard sale type items. Phil, I wondered if you would be willing to work with him.
I volunteer to actually get the doctors to work on the cheese table.
No, the cheese table's full.
Full of cheese?
Yes,
And workers.
yes. Yeah.
Cheese tables.
What are you volunteering to do now?
Well, the upper attic that used to be in here is going to be outside.
The white elephant.
White elephant type of thing. The high school kids are coming Saturday morning early to take the stuff out. There's not a lot of heavy lifting and so forth. We just need people out there to make sure everything is paid for.
And when you get cold, you can come in and get a cup of coffee.
Cheese table. Cheese table.
Right. That's right here, 9 o'clock, 10:27.
Where's cheesecake?
No, table, cheese table.
The cheese has already been ordered. It'll be here on
They
Wednesday.
have a big round piece of cheese.
A 48-pound wheel and a 10-pound block.
I work with Dennis, I know him very well.
We can do that.
We can do that.
Do I have to wear a cheese head?
Well,
Only Oscar does that.
I am going to take the liberty of inviting Oscar. He has been the cheese man for so long, complete with his wedges he's had. And I met his wife at the supermarket and told her that I would really love, even if he could come for an hour and just be here. I think that would be such a good thing to have him here. So his wife Pat is in on it, but I've not told Oscar just yet. When. So that will be just about everybody.
And I'll talk to Beth on Thursday at the meeting about the raffle, the cheese is good.
And I just saw that she also.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, yep, all right.
I understand that that purchase the you know,
Okay, go ahead. I'm not even getting that.
no, Kathy, I haven't assigned you or whatnot yet.
She's volunteering. What would you
I'm
like to
happy
do?
to do whatever you've done that.
Hallelujah.
How many do I have helping me with
Kathy.
How?
4 or 5.
Not this
But
Kathy.
I did had a younger.
Yeah, right. And, you have, I'm pretty sure that you have the staff. So,
I should do 4 days of setup.
We also, culled some jewelry that in business for Lloyd War Nichols, and it's gone.
Yes.
And recycled,
And recycling.
gone.
Nobody's happy about that than me.
Right.
And what I
What's the
call
time
the
of day for
common,
the fair?
Fair is from 9 to 2?
Yes,
9 to 2.
a cheesecake. Bill, you would prefer to be outside?
I would. You can switch us.
Yes, absolutely. Nancy's grandma's treasures, elegant treasures, Nancy's age, Janet Bensonville, and Charlotte Smith. We will also have floaters throughout the day.
That would be me. Me, Steph, Kristen, Miriam, yeah. So that works.
And Marie and did what we would do to do the washing the case. And Jean Cox's family, Kathy Homestead, bake tables all taken care of. Crafts table, I got Marie Murphy, Mary Donovan, Mary Ann Hall, and Judy Davis. Okay. So I think we're in really good shape.
Oh, I know, I was gonna tell you. Tammy sent out an email to all of her people in the Chinese group, and she's gonna do a Chinese raffle basket. With all Asian, non-perishable stuff in it. Yeah, she's really excited about it, and they're making dumplings on Wednesday, so, and we're gonna lock them up. I've hired a police guard for the night. The cameras will be in the building, will be,
is that the last of the cameras, or is that something that?
yeah, they're working on the wiring.
This pairing of the dumplings is your cook fascinating. So if you get a chance to stop by on Wednesday, I just peeked from the door of the kitchen. It is quite a production.
So delicious.
And they are, and they will be packaged, probably packaged.
I think there's 10 or 12 to a package, and they're $8. Yeah,
So well worth the price.
and they go really quick, so don't, if you think you want some, don't wait until, 12:30, because they're, just like the cheese, they'll be gone.
I need a volunteer, to sit at the cookie raffle table. Well, the baby. Unfortunately, we just have to do this, so I will be included. I'm not worried about it. I'm fretting, I don't fret. Turning gray here, but other than that,
Is someone from the office handles the money?
No, Beth Kinsky, who's the treasurer, she'll get all the money and set up the banks for all the tables with change and
I
everything.
know she can.
And then a
write it
couple times during the day, she goes and picks up money, so you're not getting $500 or $600 at your table.
and absolutely nobody comes in this building to keep warm in the lobby. Don't call the back story.
No, 9 o'clock, the door's
9
open.
o'clock, the door's open. 8,
Did you switch Steve and I between having and cheese? I want to be done with that, please.
you're going to be out with friends.
I am.
No, that's
Oh,
why
they switched.
they switched.
goes outside.
Phil wants to go in.
And
Inside.
fills in with the cheese.
Boy, we'll find a place to pick it up. Oh, not to worry. We want,
Pretty cheesy.
we want everybody here. We'll be working Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, setting the structure up out here, all of those good things. So anytime that you can spare Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before the fair is appreciated. We will have coffee and donuts available. Every Saturday morning for the workers.
Boston cream, please.
Well, that opens another door. If we go to Waffles, donuts are huge. We're leaning more towards Stop and Shop, Roach Brothers, or Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
I don't know, those pumpkin donuts, yeah.
One more thing, remember last year we had some people didn't know where we were, they didn't know they had to come up to here to get here. Is there a way we have like a sandwich board down below there?
I think that was one of the things we put on the list for this year, because we do have sandwich boards. And I'm not sure if we're gonna wanna put them around town or whatever, but we certainly can have that at the bottom of the hill. And it'll be on the big sign down at the bottom of the hill too, so. But we can have like a sign halfway up that says, keep going. You're almost there.
Another nice thing the dentist did for us last year, people thought that we hit the yard sale, but that was it. And he made sure, no, now you go in, you know, to the, after 9 o'clock, you go in inside. I think that's it in a nutshell, with all, we all want to go home. I appreciate that. I sincerely thank each and every one of you for volunteering.
What's our days are next week?
November 14th is the second Monday.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank everybody for being here.